So, you've decided you want to step up your professional game and start building a deeper understanding of some skill or knowledge set. It's time to become a specialist. Not just any specialist though, a T-shaped specialist. Someone who not only has a deep understanding of their specialty, but a vast array of related knowledge to help you along the way. If you want to learn more about what a T-shaped person is, I've linked that video in the description and put a card here for you, just so you can go check out that video and get right back here. So you know you want to be a T-shaped person, but you might be asking yourself, what skills should I learn? How do I learn them? And probably most importantly, how do I pick what I specialize in? The first thing we're gonna do is simply write out what skills you currently have. We're also gonna give them a rating from 1 to 5 based on our current level of mastery of that skill. However, if you have absolutely no mastery in that area, but are still interested in that topic, we're gonna write it down, but we're gonna give ourselves a 0 in that area. On the flip side, if you are already a magical wizard in one of those specific areas, give yourself a 5. Everything else, just fill in between, just be realistic about it. So if I were gonna go through here, I might list out some of my skills. I could write out stuff like coding. That's what I would consider my specialty at work, but I could definitely be much better at it. Also, I'm pretty interested in growing my YouTube channel and getting better at teaching in general. For example, I actually teach at a coding boot camp where I get to combine a few of these skills. If I take a look at writing, I think that's something that I'm also pretty good at, but I want to get better at it, which we'll get to in a little bit. Editing is something that I've gotten better at, but I'm still pretty much a novice, if I'm being honest. Same thing with social media and just marketing in general. I'm not that good at it, but I have dabbled. You can see I've gone through and written out the first few items that just kind of came to mind and judged them on my 0 to 5 or 1 to 5 scale based on my current skill in each of them. I say 1 to 5 scale, but a 0 means I have no skill, so that's why I put it on there like that. In reality, your list is probably going to be much bigger than this one. You're going to write out as many skills as you can think of that you either want or currently have. So definitely do not limit yourself to just a handful. This can be as extensive of a list as you want. Even things that you're interested in but have no skills in should make the list. The idea here is to write out every skill we currently have to work with, as well as those we're interested in improving upon. Now, if we care enough to write them down on this list, then that is a great indicator that those skills are worthy to go through to stage 2. In stage 2, we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into the list we just created in stage 1. We've already done a quick once-over to assess how deep our mastery of each skill is here. This time though, we want to go through and determine how much we actually want to develop each of these given skills and which ones we're okay with simply being good at or good enough at. Remember, we do not need to be great at everything. And actually, that's the point here. Remember, we just want to pick a few of these skills that are worth diving deep into so that we can develop ourselves into being that T-shaped person. So we're going to go through here and essentially decide which items we actually care about improving and which ones we're okay with exactly how they are. Now, it's not saying you're not going to build upon all of these skills later, but we're trying to isolate the ones that we really care about. This can be difficult if you have several skills that you're interested in, but recognizing that you're limited in the time you have to focus on growing these skills is vital. Again, one of the biggest things we're avoiding is being that dash-shaped person. You might feel like you can juggle all of these skills. But the problem is, if you try to do that, you're not going to be able to give enough focus to the 1 or 2 skills that you plan to master. So if I were going through this list real quick, I can say that I am pretty interested in writing and probably teaching. Those 2 are gonna be the highest on my list. They're things that I really want to improve upon. They're things that I'm interested in improving upon, and they're things that are really relevant to what I'm currently doing. Editing, on the other hand, I don't really care about. I care about it enough so that I can get a decent video out, but if somebody else were to do it for me and the video were the exact same, I really wouldn't care. Marketing is similar, and it's one of the things that I might pick up out of necessity, but when it comes to dedicating my time and energy, I will probably pass on that one too, in favor of becoming a better writer or teacher. So you can probably see where I'm heading here. By going through each of these skills and figuring out which ones we actually care about and which ones we're going to be okay with just being average about, we can start to move towards becoming that specialist, which is what stage 3 is all about, deciding on your specialty. And with that, we can go ahead and jump into stage 3, which is deciding on your specialty. This is the stem of your T, your specialty. You need to decide something that you'll start developing a depth of knowledge in rather than just a basic understanding. Depending on where you are in your career, this can feel like a terrifying question. What am I gonna pick that will determine the specialty for the rest of my life? Relax. This is not your forever decision. This is simply the direction that you're gonna start moving in. You're gonna learn and adapt and update your plan consistently. But picking a direction and just going, that is the most important thing. So how do you pick your specialty? Well, in the end, it's up to you, of course, but here's my advice. Pick something you're actually interested in. It's freaking boring to learn something you are not at all interested in. Even if you think it's a super marketable skill, if you can't find redeeming qualities that you actually find interesting, you're probably not going to stick with it in the long term, and you will be right back here in a matter of months, weeks, or maybe even days. Do not be afraid to pick something that's a little bit weird. Not that weird. This plays off the first tip, but when it comes to picking your specialty, it honestly can be anything. The idea of being a T-shaped person is that you're the specialist in your one specific area. You're going to be able to mix and match that with all of your other skills. But at the end of the day, the benefit of being that T-shaped person is that you are a specialist who can utilize that mastery in a variety of ways to accomplish something. And when it comes to getting paid for that specialty, the more niche that specialty is, the less competition you're gonna have to deal with. So while becoming a specialist in something relatively common is going to give you an abundance of opportunities, picking something that's a little bit more, off the grid is gonna open doors that are not available to 99% of other people out there. And those opportunities, those can be some of the most life-changing opportunities out there. And honestly, some of the most lucrative too. So to kind of bring this point back, if you pick a more mainstream specialty, your career progress will probably be a bit easier. But if you feel drawn to specialize in something a little bit more off the beaten track, becoming an absolute beast in that area is the right way to go, rather than simply dabbling in several skills because you think you should be learning those. Speaking of being an expert, did you know that 9 experts out of 10 recommend liking this video? Well, now you do. So be sure to press that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. Coming from one expert to another. Once you have picked your specialty, and again, don't worry, this is just your current specialty. You can always modify it later, and you probably will, at least a little bit. But once you've picked that specialty for now, it is time to actually start becoming an expert. Easier said than done, but there are some simple steps that you can take to start moving towards becoming that expert in that specific area you've chosen. The one that I find the most valuable is immersion. Immerse yourself in this topic. Immerse yourself in what you choose to be your specialty. Especially if this is a brand new area, you need to immerse yourself in the topic. Listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, find others interested in the same things as you, and talk to them. This needs to become second nature, and that involves turning this skill into a habit. This should be on your mind consistently throughout the day. This is going to take different forms depending on the skill you've chosen. But regardless, you need to spend time in and around this skill every single day. The next thing you need to do is find projects that are related. If this is at your current job, awesome. If not, you're gonna need to make your own projects, right? Find somebody who needs a similar job done and go do it for free. Do something that builds your portfolio in the skill that you are hoping to build, and more importantly, helps you develop and hone that skill to the point where you can actually start marketing yourself as an expert in that area. That is when you can start making money. And whether or not it's for a job that you're working at or through freelancing, becoming an expert, building up that skill, building up your reputation, and then marketing that skill is how we are going to build money as our T-shaped person. Now, there are countless ways to get ahead in your career, but none, in my opinion, are more powerful than the ability to become a specialist in one specific area. But in addition to becoming that T-shaped person, you're going to want to take even more action to advance yourself throughout your career. And this video right here is going to give you the tools you need to do just that. As always, check out my channel if you want to see more videos just like this one, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.